Have you guys ever just stood there looking at your shelf for what feels like forever trying to pick out a game to play? It comes to a point where you just say, fuck it, I'm done, I'm just sick of this, I'm gonna play a game that is like comfort food, a game that I'm familiar with, a game that will never get old. Today I found myself in that dilemma, so I decided to pop in some good old Super C for the Nintendo Entertainment System. This one's a classic right here. And really, that's just what I want to do for today's episode. We're going to cap off the year like this. I just want to go through the games that I play pretty often. Games that I just always come back to. Games that never get old. And of course, we are going to start with Super C. Now, I consider myself to be a pretty big Contra fan. All the ones I've played, I've enjoyed quite a lot. But there's something about Super C that's just right, you know? Just the perfect difficulty, perfect length. Now, of course, I've played this game quite a lot, but you can see here I still die. Here I am dying on stage 1. Lots of close calls, too. In this game, I don't think the spread gun is really the mandatory weapon like it is in normal Contra. In fact, my favorite gun in the game is actually fire, because it's just a boss shredder. Check out the absolute destruction I can unleash upon this guy. Another thing that I really like about Super C is that all of the stages are equally fun in my opinion. Like in Contra 3, you had the shitty overhead levels, where you had to rotate using the shoulder buttons. In Contra, the base stages weren't too bad, but really it just made me wish I could go back to the running gun levels. In Super C, I don't have this problem. 100% the game is just awesome. I really don't have any complaints with this one. I just play it all the time. I go back to it and just do casual runs over and over again. It's great. I never get sick of it. Now this next one, I don't think many of you guys have heard of. It's kind of a more obscure one, and it's for none other than the epic almighty Intellivision. You guys know I fucking love the Intellivision. Although, we haven't talked about it on the channel in a little while now. Anyway, the game is Thunder Castle. It's a maze game, but unlike something like Pac-Man or Lock and Chase, you're not collecting pellets or anything. Your goal is to actually kill stuff, yeah. So, you go out as a knight, and you chase down monsters, and wizards, and demons, and all that kind of jazz. And you collect power-ups, and then you go out and kill them. You just go absolutely crazy. Chase them down. Run, run, run. Fucking slay them, one after another, dozens at a time. It's not that crazy, but it is really fun. This is the run of a champion right here. Look at the way this guy runs. You know this guy is gonna do his duty, slay dozens of monsters, then go home and eat fucking beef jerky and have sex. The monsters in this game can be kinda sneaky though, so you have to really strategize about how you're gonna catch up and kill them. They also get faster the more of them you kill, so you'll have to make use of things like the walls disappearing and rematerializing. You can also find a bunch of items to help you out, like a ring that teleports you anywhere in the stage, or a crown that freezes enemies briefly. My favorite is the chalice, because you can just power up with a push of a button. That is really handy. And of course, when we're talking about Thunder Castle, you have to mention this game probably has the dopest soundtrack of any console game of this time. Honestly, just amazing. I love the music in this game. So yeah, Thunder Castle. Check this one out. I bet most of you haven't, so get on it, like right now. It's a great game. Alright, our next game is going to be on the Sega Genesis. You guys know I love the Sega Genesis too. And here is one of my favorite beat-em-ups of all time, and that has gotta be Streets of Rage 2. What a great game to just kick back and unwind. You just go wham, you know, you punch this guy and kick that guy and throw this man over at a table, and it's just a very satisfying game, just like any beat-em-up. You got a variety of different characters to pick from. They each do their different things and specialize in different strengths and that kind of jazz. I'm a pretty plain guy, so I usually just go with Axel. Although it's mostly just because he has this uppercut move. He calls it the Grand Upper, although I always call it the Grab Suppa. It sounds like he's saying Grab Suppa, like he's, I don't know, picking up crumbs from off the ground or something. Of course, this is another game with fantastic music done by Yuzo Koshiro. My god, just so funky, so cool. Love all of the themes, especially the one that plays in the bar. God, I should play that in a real bar. If I ever pick up like a bar business or something, I'm just gonna play this song in it 24/7. This game gets pretty hard near the end of the game too. You just get tossed and juggled all over the place. But it's still fun throughout. Really great game. We're gonna jump ahead a little bit and fire up my Xbox 360. I don't usually get to talk about this thing on my channel. And here's a little game that kind of hit it big back in the day, and that was Plants vs. Zombies. I love it. So much fun. So casual. So relaxing. You just get to mess around and be creative. If you don't know about this game, it's like a strategy, you know, like a tower defense. So all you do is just plant and you shoot zombies with little pea shooter guys. You really get to mix and match things. Just get creative, you know? Like in this round, all I did was just plant little guys to like freeze the zombies, and then they walk into these mushrooms, the hypno shrooms, and eat them. And then they turn around and fight for me. Or how about this one? I plant garlic, which causes them to divert into different lanes, and then they walk into the spike weeds, which stab them. You just get creative. You can't forget our boy Crazy Dave either. This guy, kind of an iconic character if you're a Plants vs. Zombies fan, making us go fucking bowling with walnuts. And who can forget about survival mode, where you just get to use the craziest, most powerful plants in the game. You got some pretty wacky ones like the cob cannon, just flings corn, bombs zombies with corn. This reminds me of the time where I gave my friend Chris a bunch of canned corn at an expo. Chris, if you're watching this, you fucking remember this. One thing I didn't do though is hurl it at you like a goddamn ballistic missile. Yeah, I never tire this one. Just get wacky, defend your lawn from zombies. So much fun. I can just kick back and play this all day. And I used to a lot back in the day. I used to be really good. I used to play a bunch of Survival Endless, and I was able to get like 50 flags down. There were like zombies everywhere. I was pretty good at it. These days, not quite as much, but I still have a lot of fun with this one. Check it out. We've got ourselves another Sega Genesis game here. This is Castlevania Bloodlines. You guys know I had to talk about a Castlevania. I'm a huge Castlevania fan, and I come back to these games all the time. It was really hard to pick one to play for this video, because all of them are so replayable, but Bloodlines, I don't know, not enough people talk about Bloodlines, you know? Probably just because it's on the Sega Genesis, but this one's probably in my top 5 favorite Castlevania games. It plays really smooth, it flows very well. There's 2 different characters this time around. You can play as John Morris, or Eric Lecard with his Alucard spear, and you travel across Europe, and you got all these different creative stages to go through, like this tower, the Leaning Tower of Pisa. You got a factory, a munitions factory, castle where just bridges are exploding. Pretty crazy game. I don't think Europe is actually like this in real life. This game isn't all that hard for the most part. It's not Castlevania 3 bad, but it definitely packs in some challenge. So it is a pretty intense game still. Stage 5 is where I run into a lot of problems. And while playing this game for the video, it actually crashed for the first time I think I've seen ever for anyone playing this game. I'm just kind of unlucky. But for those occasions, thank God you have passwords. like I said for Super C, this game is just perfect length, perfect difficulty. So I come back to this one very often. It's just a great all-around Castlevania. So if you somehow haven't played this one yet and you are a Castlevania fan, what are you doing, man? There is one more game I want to talk about for this video, and this one is another absolute classic. You'll notice a lot of games on this list are 2D side-scrollers, because those are my jam. And when you're talking about platformers or side-scrollers, you know, Mario sticks out. Mario is the man, and we have not talked about Mario enough on this channel. This is one I played as a kid, and of course, it's a classic. It's Super Mario World. There's not a whole lot to say about Super Mario World that you guys don't already know. It's just a nearly perfect platforming game, what can I say? The controls are perfect, the stage design is amazing, the levels are super memorable. Get it? I said super there, because it's Super Mario World. And Mario, he's just a fun guy, you know? He's just a fun-loving guy, the way he goes, yippee, oh, wahoo! How could you not look at that and say, yeah, I want to play your video games, man. You look cool. This game used to be a lot harder for me as a kid, but nowadays I know everything and can just breeze through it. You guys remember the level in Chocolate Island, whatever it's called, where you have to fly underneath the goalpost? My god, that stumped me so hard as a kid. I didn't know how to get through that. I think that's the first time I had to use the internet for something. Ooh, now I'm on it all the time. I miss when Mario games had bold levels like this, though. Having entire worlds where you have to find secrets, like the Forest of Illusion, or a level where it's just one Lakitu. That's it. That's the entire level, and you just have to fly up and find the exit. It doesn't really follow a formula as much, you know, and that's what makes it more memorable to me. What about the level where, depending on how fast you get through it, the layout kind of changes a little bit? And if you do it fast enough, you find a secret exit? That's cool. I like that stuff. This is a really creative idea. This isn't my favorite Mario game. I still think Mario 3 is a little better, but this one's easier to come back and replay just because you can save and pick up where you left off. And I think this is a good way to cap off the video here. This is a great game, an amazing game even. It's got some problems, you know. I think the cape is a little overpowered. That's putting it lightly. This thing just completely just ruins 40% of the levels. You can just fly over them. Don't do that, though. It's not fun that way. And of course, I think Mario 3 just had a little more variety in its levels, but, you know, Super Mario World was rushed. And for it being rushed, goddamn, they did a good job with this one. So, highly recommend it. Anyway, that's all I got for today's video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed it. This year has been a really good year for YouTube for me. We did a lot of fun videos, and we found a lot of cool people this year. So I really appreciate you guys watching the videos. We had to go out with a cool episode like this. And of course, I will see you again next year in 2025. Anyway, you guys take care.